Hi, it's Spot. Um, Welcome to the second edition of How Long with Spot. Um, we've been considering where to go after that first episode, and as it so happens these days, the news made the decision for us when we heard about the DACA decision at the Supreme Court. Um, and there's a story with us regarding that. When in 2016, when Hillary and Trump both um, won their respective primaries, we saw a possibility that Trump would win. Um, and we had gone on disability in 2005, and during the early days of our disability, it gained a lot of weight. And so we decided we needed to both do an exercise to focus our discipline and to get in better shape with that possibility. So we decided we would spend a year, drop all the projects, and just focus on losing 200 pounds. And it got to around April when it finally, Trump did something and made us say, okay, we got to start organizing, can't wait any longer. And we had lost 185 pounds. So the, the thing that broke the camel's back there was the DACA decision. So it mattered right away to us. Um, Unfortunately, the exercise and discipline, we won't be the organizer of large protests that we once were. Just couldn't get there. There was a protest, and the one thing that came out of it is it introduced the symbol to Charlottesville. And of course, back in April 2017, this didn't make sense to many people. But the reason it started making sense with us, and we wanted to explain that because it's an issue today. Because when you hear this, people talk about Antifa, what they're talking about is anti-fascism. And if all the things happening, we have this pandemic that has killed more people, on track to kill as many people as died. Many Americans has died in World War II, and you have all this other stuff going down in the world, climate change riots, race riots, cops attacking democracy, all this stuff going on. Um, China and two nuclear powers at war, fighting out with clubs along their border. And what Trump is worried about is anti-fascists. Wow, where's his priorities? What is he saying about himself? And of course, when we had that, we had to start putting out pamphlets. This is what's called a finger book. This is actually a modification of our own. As you take the finger book design, and you can put a back poster, you can even do a pop-up in some cases. But talking about fascism, and by the way, this as well as a lot of the button patterns we have, they're available for free downloads. If you have a button making machine or want to get social activists organizing tools, you can download that from our account on DeviantArt. Um, when we use the term fascism, we've been an anti-fascist since the 70s. Um, we're not using it as epithet. We're not using it as, a stereotype of, this guy's controlling, he's a fascist. That's not what we're meaning. You know, you can be a dictator and not be a fascist. In fact, there's a strong argument that you could be a fascist and not be a dictator. It's not the same thing, but it's a tendency toward doing certain things. And one of the facets of fascism is Hitler never revoked the Weimar Constitution. He found ways to ignore it. His was calling a state of emergency, making sure it stayed an emergency. It's kind of what Trump did, but kind of got there in a strange way. But basically, he just, fires all the people who enforce the law. And therefore, and he says he's above the law, and he's trying to put enough judges to agree with it, right? And what also got it from me, the first clued me in, not clued me in, but made me determine this is what he was, is abortion. Anyone who's been following Trump knows he doesn't give a damn about abortion. But as soon as he can get votes by it, he went whole day. And this is during the primary, still his original primary. And the thing is, a lot of people don't know that one of the first effective polling apparatus was developed by the Nazi Party under Hitler, because they would have, if you ever watch Cabaret, and there's the guy who recruits the, I'm gonna got this. I'm thinking of a different movie, but the Inside the Third Reich, the guy who recruits Albert Spears, those kind of people, the organizers within the party, would go to pubs and they would write reports afterwards about what people were talking and what they felt about it. And because Nazis didn't give a damn about too much, they didn't have basically any moral compass beyond hate, paranoia, scapegoat, and elitism. And in a certain, not elitism, but a certain inherent right, or something we'll talk about, imperium, in terms of fascism. But outside of that, they have no moral compass. They're just all over the place. So all they wanted to find out is what was popular. Okay, and they were always anti-Semites. That was always there. All the thing about the superior German race was always there in the background with any other issue, and they just hog-tied every other issue, and that's how they were able to start having successes within the electoral system in Germany. And they were actually on the decline when they were brought in by the conservatives who thought they could control Hitler. Like certain people today. And when he did that, we realized, he just, the way he full fronted knows he has no moral compass. That's the kind of thing that you're looking for. They're obviating laws, they're not rejecting them. They're obviating the Constitution, they're not renouncing it. They're holding up the Bible probably upside down. They're not reading it, and that's why one of the early buttons we made was this one here. Bad neighbors make ugly walls. And I'm sorry to get so preachy about that, but it means a lot to us. Some other buttons we want to show off. Justice comes with a side of peace. And again, any of the social justice ones you can download at our site. Start busking them tomorrow if you like. This is one that was interesting. This one did come from the protest. It has a fairly funny story behind it. It came from a stencil. And stencil for making patches that we were doing for the protest, because it was part of our sewing circle, and we were gonna try to organize things to have people sew on things. Did a little bit of it, but didn't work out as good as we did. But when you're using the stencil, you get ink on one side of it, and so when we clean up, we make artwork as part of the process of cleaning up, and the inverted image came out real cool, and we reduced it to be able to make it into a button sign, and the original artwork was incorporated into a shirt, which I think is still owned by a poet named Jade, who I think is out west somewhere at this point. And is there any other button that we want to particularly show off? Well, there's a few others. This is a anarcho-Catholic cross. Bar behind bars. We did a Halloween button. And we showed this one. Oh, this one is interesting. We did a button. Some people in Charlottesville for a while called us the Wish Man, and they would ask us to make a wish each day. And we had been praying that ever since the country pulled out of the climate accords, that the ramifications of storms, the worst effects, kind of bypass Charlottesville and maybe go into places where they were rejecting the information, where maybe a lesson could be learned. And we made a wish that if somehow a big storm should come to Charlottesville, it'd take out a certain piece of statue that's in our town. And it's kind of ridiculous because we just had a ruling today that at a minimum it'll have to be here another 3 weeks after all this is still going on. It's very frustrating. Thank you, and remember, we're hoping to do something about Sorry's Best, which is Sorry is a personality within Spot's household who's a seamstress and a modess and designer of clothing. And we hope to focus that, especially some things about some of the mask designs she's been making. That's that, and have a nice day.